Welcome to Bullets, Pickler Wealth Advisors monthly market update, where each month I will break down the major political and economic activities going on in our world. No jargon, no frills, just the facts. One of the special features we're going to have each month on Bullets will be a quote. This month we go to the world of Mark Twain, one of America's greatest humorists and authors. Twain once said, "The two most important days in any person's life are the day they're born and the day they understand why." In addition to our monthly quote feature, we also each month will feature a piece of market trivia, an anecdote that hopefully you'll find interesting and illuminating. For this month's trivia, we go to the world of politics. This is, of course, an election year. You may not be aware that for the first 144 years of our nation's existence, the American president was inaugurated in the springtime. It wasn't until the passage of the 20th Amendment in 1937 that we began inaugurating presidents on January 20th, and that's been a tradition and now a law that's been in place ever since. One of the most important reasons why we are bringing Bullets to you each month to give you an opportunity for us to talk about what happened in the previous month, the impact it had on our markets and the economy, as we also look ahead to what we anticipate that may be happening in the next 30 days. For this initial episode, we're going to take a look back at the year 2023 and the amazing things that happened that influenced our market and our economy. As the year 2023 began, there were a lot of concerns in the economy, a lot of concerns with investors, concerns about inflation, concerns about interest rates, concerns about a possibility of recession. And the year certainly didn't get off to a great start. In the first quarter, we had a major banking crisis that had a lot of ripple effects all throughout our economy. We saw credit conditions tighten dramatically, taking a housing market that was already in a difficult situation and made it even worse. We saw in the month of June where the Congress failed to meet their responsibility to raise the debt ceiling. And by doing so, they created a structure that allowed our government to spend with reckless abandon. And we ended the fiscal year in 2023 with over a $1.7 trillion deficit. Certainly an unsustainable process. We saw the Federal Reserve continuing their process of raising interest rates as they raised it 4 times in their efforts to try to keep inflation and get inflation under control. We saw Saudi Arabia, supposedly one of our allies, as they began to play games with oil prices, causing oil prices to skyrocket on multiple occasions this fall. We also saw the UAW engaging in a strike against the 3 major automakers, which threatened to put our entire economy on the sidelines. And of course, in the month of October, we saw the horrible terrorist attack by Hamas as they attacked the people of Israel at a concert, killing hundreds of innocent citizens. And of course, we saw our own House of Representatives as they engaged in a coup against their own Speaker of the House, where they took down Speaker Kevin McCarthy and had no plan whatsoever to how to replace him, leaving our government in a rudderless fashion. And to make things even worse, in the month of October, we saw mortgage rates reach a high of nearly 8%, doing even further damage to an already weakened housing market. So with all these bad things happen, how did we survive? What really happened? Well, what we can look to is the American consumer. The American consumer carried this economy through. The resiliency of the American consumer kept our economy on solid footing all throughout the course of the year. We saw better than expected corporate earnings. We also saw throughout the course of the year the rise of what I believe to be the 4th industrial revolution, the rise of artificial intelligence, the fusing together of the digital and the physical. And we saw the tremendous amount of money moving into AI-oriented stocks, such as NVIDIA and Microsoft. We also saw in 2023 the rise of the Magnificent Seven. 7 stocks that really led the way in the markets. Stocks such as Apple and Amazon and Alphabet, otherwise known as Google, Tesla, Meta, and as I mentioned before, NVIDIA and Microsoft. And as a result of the American consumer, and as a result of this AI-infused movement in growth stocks, We saw a market that overcame all of those obstacles to be up over 25% for the year. So with 2023 in our rearview mirror, what do things look like for 2024? I certainly anticipate that we will continue to see interest rates heading downward. I certainly think we will continue to see the trend that's been developing of inflation, as inflation continues to move downward closer to that Fed target of 2%. Certainly that's something we may get to by the end of this year. I also believe that we will not see a recession in 2024, that while the economy will continue to slow based upon the activities of our Federal Reserve to intentionally slow the economy to bring inflation under control, I do not believe that we will go negative and we'll see the kind of negative impact on unemployment in our economy. And I also believe we will see earnings begin to trend upwards. So what is the big concern? What are the things we'll be looking for in 2024? One of the most important concerns we'll be tracking will be the election. There's a lot of uncertainty about where we're going to be with the election this year. You know, whether Joe Biden will actually receive the nomination, whether he'll even be on the ballot in November, whether Donald Trump will overcome his legal issues and end up on the ballot. And if we have that rematch of the 2020 election, then will we have a different result this time? And what will be the impact on the market? Well, one of the things we can look at is study our history. Since 1928, when the S&P 500 index was created, we've had 24 elections. Interestingly enough, in 20 of those 24 election years, the stock market has been up. That's 83% of the time. If we take a look at where we are now with the Democratic president, in those elections, when a Democrat was either re-elected or elected, the market was up an average of 11%. If we have a Republican elected, the market was up an average of 12%. And overall, with all 24 elections since 1928, if Republicans win, the market is up an average of 15.3%. If Democrats win, the markets are up 7.6%. And overall, the markets have averaged being up 11.2%. So in other words, history tells us the market tends to go up in election years. And so therefore, as we go forward, we think that we can still have a good year despite the uncertainty. But one thing we will be doing is keep a very close eye on the market fluctuation and the volatility and be prepared to act if necessary. America's first president, George Washington, once said, "The harder the conflict, the greater the triumph." We believe in this principle. We believe in the principle of united we stand, something that you will see manifesting itself throughout all of Pickler companies for this year and beyond. We believe that together we can overcome any challenges. Together we can navigate and overcome any obstacle, because together we will plan. Together we'll plan for a future that can be uncertain. Together we can plan to be able to address the challenges that will come before us and solve the problems that are out there. We are so proud to have the honor of serving as your advocate and your advisor. We're proud of the opportunity for our family to deliver solutions for your family. That's our passion. That's our purpose. That's who we are.